At this point, I am joined in by Ambassador C. Rajashekhar. He's former senior diplomat and former DG ICCR. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on DD India News Hour. To begin with, was this on expected lines, the way President Trump is not new at throwing surprises, but then when we talk of the damage which he did after calling India lost to China a few days back, and now calling India a good friend, calling Prime Minister Narendra Modi a good friend and hailing India-US ties, how do you read that and how do you gauge that?
Good morning. It's nice to join you this morning. Diplomacy is always a constant, more so when it comes to such a consequential, such important relationship, partnership, global strategic partnership as one between India and US. Traditionally, it used to be done at our level, functional level. Diplomats would negotiate, would prepare the deal, and then the principals, the leaders will come and smile and sign. But here, we have a very interesting, slightly different situation that President Trump believes in, like reality television. He wants to be in the front and center of action. So as a result, there is a little, flurry, there is a little flutter that suddenly there is extreme, this extreme, that extreme. You would recall that there was great bonhomie between our leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President, actually he was not even president, Ab ki baar Trump ki sarkar. That was actually extreme gesture of friendship between, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, even deviating from the established diplomatic protocol that we don't comment on internal political choices. That being the case, President Trump was taken by extreme sentiment. Suddenly, he has started imposing high tariffs on top of it, topped it up with secondary sanctions. Contradicting his own word, he was on record in Alaska after meeting President Trump, President Putin. He was asked, "What do you think of secondary sanctions on those who purchase from Russia?" So he said that at the moment I'm not thinking, that can wait. But soon after that, again, he has imposed again 25%, which is rather, in the words of American diplomats, it's not exactly a friendly act. Now, having said that, both sides, there have been, wiser, saner, more sagacious observations and inputs. John Bolton and Sumit Ganguly and Ambassador Mohan Kumar just now said that many wiser voices calling for patience and wisdom and let diplomacy have a chance. So that naturally in due course will prevail. That what we see is partly that President Trump affirming that Prime Minister Modi is a very seasoned, balanced statesman. And there is great value for friendship with India, even for United States. For United States, for India and the world, India-US relationship has great value. It is a source of stability and prosperity. This is an incontrovertible truth, regardless of my personal emotion at the moment. So that's what has come to the fore. President Trump, it is very heartening to note that has reaffirmed the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, and that as a person, he is a great friend. And immediately, Prime Minister Modi has heartily, fully reciprocated the sentiment. Now, as Ambassador Mohan Kumar has rightly listed, that we should let diplomacy run its course, that the trade negotiations should conclude. We did offer an excellent trade deal. There was some disagreement on agriculture and dairy sectors. There also, this is the best deal that was ever offered. And President Trump would personally, politically be much better off to accept this rather than pushing India, which is a major global power, into the embrace of China or BRICS. It is not in the interest, either economic or strategic interest of US itself. This has to be hammered both through diplomatic channels and also through various other informal channels.
All right, sir, you're talking of balanced and seasoned and steadfast statesmanship by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. To what extent did that play a role in this change of stance by President Trump? Having said that, what light does it also throw on India's growing clout on the global page, on India's image makeover on the global page, and also how will it further show in the relationship in the near future?
So clearly, as the visuals from Tianjin at the Shanghai Cooperation Summit have projected, bringing global leaders, including President Putin, President Xi, Prime Minister Modi, and other leaders. US is not the only game in town. India is not without friends. India has civilizational goodwill and wisdom, and there are many people, many countries will be happy, keen to collaborate, to befriend, to partner, to work with India, because India is the most populous country of 1.4 billion people and growing steadily at over healthy, at a minimum of 6% per annum. So India is clearly the partner not to miss. So that is an
Right.
incontrovertible fact. Plus that India would cross into the other camp of Russia, China would certainly be not a very wise, not a very smart thing for US to see. And of course, at the same time, India also doesn't want to greatly values relationship with US. We have invested greatly, and we don't want to spoil relationship for any momentary, as Ambassador Mohan Kumar has put it rightly. For a small part, trade is only one aspect. There are also other
Yes.
more important aspects like people-to-people contacts, democracy or values, and also geopolitical positions, convergence of our interests on the global stage.
All right. As we close this conversation, sir, politics is not just about two persons, about two leaders. It is about the interests of the countries. Now, having said that, given the way President Trump has softened his stance, has retracted on his statement, will it, though it is a little hypothetical, but then will it also set an example for the other countries which President Trump is dealing with an iron hand in the near future as well?
Yeah, it's a constant, a dynamic calculus. Our relations between major powers are panning out, and accordingly we calibrate, we slightly reset, modify our stance. This goes on, to various countries. You see that, China has greatly warmed up to India since October last year. As they see that, President
Yes.
coming to the White House. So likewise, say in the game of chess, if you see, we don't take out the king first. Say king, is not coming to the war, so he first sends out pawns and other powers. So that has been the traditional approach of conducting statecraft. We have to adjust to this new style of President Trump. We shall not fall for any mood swings, but we have to always keep the profound value of India-US global strategic partnership, that it adds and multiplies value not only for India, for US, for the world also. India and US being the largest, most important democracies are a factor for stability and prosperity.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining in with those inputs and analysis. That was Ambassador C. Rajashekhar joining us and helping us understand this big breaking news coming in from the US, where President Donald Trump has appreciated India-US ties and also has called Prime Minister Narendra Modi his close friend. Remember, this comes just after stark criticism by President Donald Trump of India after the photographs between Russia, China and India at the SCO summit, after the SCO summit surfaced, and he called India being lost to China. So here we have President Trump retracting on his statement and now calling Prime Minister Narendra Modi his close friend, and also hailing India-US relationship. At the same time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also in a social media post has appreciated this sentiment by President Trump, and he said that India also reciprocates this sentiment. On that note,